get a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better. Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. You get a fast car. I got a plan to get us out of here. Been working at the convenience store. Managed to save just a little bit of money. Won't have to drive too far. Just cross the border and into the city. You and I can both get jobs and finally see what it means to be living.
Hello everybody! Welcome once again to another edition of Quick Trivia with Mike. It's the weekly quiz show right here on Channel 955 where we test your knowledge of facts. Sometimes a little bit more historic in nature, sometimes very contemporary, hopefully always a lot of fun. I am your host and the Quizmaster, Mike Brever. You know, this is a weekly game show right here. Hopefully you joined us in the past, but if you haven't, what we do is we pose 3 questions to you. We begin our new show by giving you the answers to the 3 questions from last week. After a brief intermission, we give you 3 new questions for the coming week. Sit back, relax, let's have a little bit of fun this next half hour, shall we? You know we have a new tradition here at Quick Trivia. We begin with the birthdays of the week. Let's see who we've got this week, shall we? On the 14th of March, we've got Pat Crump. Pat Crump having a birthday. On the 16th of March, Susan Sinzak. On the 19th of March, we've got Arlene Brackensick. On the 20th of March, we've got Sasha Ishii. On the 21st, we've got Dale Schneider. And on the 30th, we've got Kurt Fowler. Happy birthday to all you birthday kids out there. And if you happen to pass any of them in the hallway over the next week or two, be sure to wish them a happy birthday and extend special greetings from all of us here at Quick Trivia. I've also got a couple of announcements here. Our Department of Community Life has asked me to announce a couple of things. The first one is not just community life, it's also our marketing department. You know that we have a new construction project coming up very, very quickly. We're about to break ground in a week or two. First, we're starting at Bradford Terrace. When that's done, we're going to be moving all of our assisted living residents over to floors 1 and 2 at Bradford. Then we're going to do Water Tower. To commemorate this wonderful capital campaign that's really going to consolidate our efforts and make us much more efficient, we're going to be hosting a time capsule. We're going to have a groundbreaking for the new construction on March 29th, and we will create a time capsule at that time. Pick up a piece of letterhead from the mailroom and type or write your story. Some ideas to spark your story might include: what kind of relationships have you formed here at East Castle? What do you do recreationally at East Castle? What historical moments have occurred while you were living at East Castle? What does your typical day entail for you? What do you look forward to most once renovations are complete? We're going to take these thoughts from all of you, put them in a time capsule on March 29th. When the construction is complete, in about 2 years, we're going to open them. In 2 years, we will be celebrating our 140th anniversary as an organization. You know, we started in 1884, providing housing for low-income Protestant women. We've been providing services ever since that day. So this, our 140th anniversary, might be when we open that time capsule. There might be some other day in 2024 when we will be doing it, but those are just some thoughts. The East Castle Place time capsule. See Anna Landez, You might also talk to Stacy Abbott. One or the other ones of them will tell you how to participate. It's fun, it's easy. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Willie has also asked me to remind all of you about our Spring Wellness Challenge, taking place from March 1st until April 17th at Lindsay Hall, also in the Creativity Center. All you have to do is attend a total of 12 wellness events during the time frame listed. What's a wellness event? Well, it might be an exercise class we offer. It might be meditation or a church service. It might be a support group led by Pastor Harold. How do you participate in the Wellness Challenge? All you have to do is fill out an activity sheet. Every time you participate in one of the activities, and an activity leader sign off for your attendance. That gets you in. Hopefully you can participate in 12 events between now and April 17th. You could win a $50 gift card to either Whole Foods or Sendix. There will be a raffle for everybody who participates in at least 12 events. So hopefully you'll be a big winner. An opportunity to maybe get a little bit more healthful, either physically or spiritually or emotionally. And you'll be able to benefit a little bit with a $50 gift card as well. Again, some ideas is we have meditation groups, we have spousal support groups, grief support groups, Bible study. We did have Ash Wednesday, ecumenical services on the weekends, Catholic Mass on the weekend, gratitude group. We had planning your funeral book discussions. In terms of physical activities, aqua aerobics, the falls prevention exercise, senior strength, tai chi, stretch and tone, yoga, fall prevention exercise, and the fitness center open house on Friday, March 25th. Wonderful opportunities, hopefully lots of fun, and maybe you can win 50 bucks. What could be better? See Willie or anybody in Community Life. They'll be able to walk you through it. A lot of fun, I can guarantee you. I know I myself have participated in 2 events already. I've gone to one of the spiritual opportunities. I went to Mass here on campus last week, and I've used the swimming pool. So there you have it. Real easy to do. Let's take a look at our 3 questions from last week, shall we? We talked a little bit about an entrepreneur in IT. Computer work. A gentleman with the name of Adam Osborne, born March 6, 1939, died March 18, 2003, a British-American author, book, and software publisher. He created a computer called the Osborne 1. Really was a trend-setting machine. It was the first commercially successful portable computer. The innovative thing about it is that it was the first computer to have the software built in. I know when I first started doing computing, the very first computer I had 2 floppy disk drives. One floppy disk drive had the program, whether it was Word or a spreadsheet or something like that. The bottom disk drive had a floppy disk that I would be writing to. Maybe I was writing a letter, maybe I was doing a spreadsheet. So one stored your data, the other one stored the program. Osborne came up with a program that had this software built right in. Made him immensely successful. This was in the 1970s, by the way. Really a trendsetter and an innovator. Ironically, Osborne also created what became known as the Osborne effect. The Osborne effect, which in essence drove him to bankruptcy. My question to you, what in the world could this genius, who became a millionaire with his creation, what in the world could the Osborne effect be that drove him to bankruptcy? Well, the answer is that what he did was he announced to the world that he had made significant progress in the creation of the Osborne II, the next generation of computers. It followed up the Osborne 1, which made him immensely successful and famous. The Osborne 2 would be made available to the general public in a year's time. What ended up happening is that his sales for the Osborne 1 dried up. Everybody decided to wait till the new one became available. In essence, he had spent all this money creating all these machines that were on shelves in stores waiting to be sold. No one bought them. It became a truism in marketing. From that point on, people didn't announce the next generation of anything until it was ready to go, because it drove one person to bankruptcy by drying up his sales. That, my friends, was the answer to question number 1. Question number 2. Took a little bit of a look at the Guinness Book of World Records, which began in 1955 up until 1999. So for 44 years it was known as the Guinness Book of Records. After 1999 it became the Guinness Book of World Records. In 2022 it was in its 67th year of publication. It's now in 100 countries, 23 languages, and maintains over 53,000 records in its database. The interesting thing about it is that many of the records in the Guinness Book of World Records are kind of oddities. Who could swing on a swing the longest? Who could jump rope the longest? How many people can you fit inside a Volkswagen? You know, these aren't the kind of records you see in the Olympics. The longest broad jump, the fastest 100 meters. Those aren't the kind of records you see there. I told you that there was a very, very talented dog in the Guinness Book of World Records. Lived in the state of Illinois, an Australian Shepherd and Border Collie named Sweet Pea. I told you that Sweet Pea was in the Guinness Book of World Records for a very unique record. And I challenged you to find out what it was. The answer? Sweet Pea had incredible balancing skills. Traveled 100 meters with a can skillfully balanced on top of her head, crossing the finish line in just 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And that is a world record that stands to this day. It is the fastest 100 meters for a dog balancing a can on their head. Sweet Pea, the record holder. Who knew? So the next time you hear about Sweet Pea in the Guinness Book of World Records, you'll know what it's all about. And that was the answer to question number 2. We talked a little bit about real sports then as well. Specifically, we talked about the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum located in Cooperstown, New York, up in the Catskill Mountains. I told you I took my family there on vacation one year. It is a wonderful, wonderful visit. It's like stepping back into 1890. It's a pedestrian town. You cannot drive your car into it. There is no parking in town. You can drive through town, but there is absolutely no place to park. The entire town is no parking. So you park about 3 miles outside of town. There's parking lots out there and there's shuttles that bring you in. As a result of that, you are perfectly safe walking in town anywhere. It's a wonderful visit, especially in the summertime. Ice cream parlors are open. Sometimes there are activities by the historic ball field. But the Hall of Fame itself is just wonderful. It talks about the legacy of baseball. It also points out about how Civil War General Abner Doubleday is mischaracterized as the founder of baseball. He really isn't, and they go into it there. But it really talks about baseball over the generations and all the records and people that have been elected to it by sports writers and things like that. My question to you last week is that there are 2 and only 2 non-sportsmen honored at the Baseball Hall of Fame. And I asked you, who are they? Who are these 2 non-sportsmen that are in the Baseball Hall of Fame? The answer, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. Abbott and Costello for their famous routine, Who's On First? If you've never seen it, you really should see one of the old Abbott and Costello movies. It's probably on YouTube. You could probably go on YouTube and find a copy of Abbott and Costello's Who's On First routine. Absolutely priceless. It is sketch comedy personified. You'd love it. But those are the only 2 non-athletic people enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Bud Abbott and Lou Costello, better known as Abbott and Costello. There you have it, my friends. Those are the 3 questions from last week. We're going to take a brief intermission now. You can go get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe get yourself a donut, a little bit of brain food. I've got some real interesting questions for you in the second half, and I'll be waiting right here. So hurry back.
The following program is brought to you in living color on NBC.
Hey, Goldie.
What?
You want to join a group?
Oh, all you guys do is just monkey around.
Okay, I can't go. You're invited.
Hey, how would you like to come up to my place for the evening?
Promise you'll be good?
Good, I'll be magnificent.
We spent $35 million on the space program. Now, some people say we should have given it to the poor.
Oh, now what do the poor know about running a space program?
Dan? My boyfriend and I went to a computer dating service and found out we were absolutely incompatible. I guess we'll have to give up the apartment.
Boris is a lousy bridge partner. The only time I know what he's holding in his hand is when it's under the table. On my knees.
Oft when the shepherd is elsewhere, as he seeketh his sheep, it is the eunuch who fleeces the flock.
Teresa. Hey, baby.
Oh, yeah, baby.
You know I had a terrible nightmare last night?
That's too bad, Dick. I had a beautiful dream.
Well, in my nightmare, I was up to my neck in quicksand. What was your beautiful dream about?
Oh, about the same as yours, only you were George Wallace.
Say, Goldie, what do you think about the population explosion?
Well, it's okay with me, Dan, as long as I don't wake up the babies.
I went out with this girl last night. I'm not saying she was frigid, but every time she opened her mouth, a light went on.
My boyfriend looked me right in the eye and said he loved my new see-through blouse, which just proved he didn't really like it.
I say, why shouldn't Rackle Welsh play a man in Myra Breckenridge?
Well, I can give you 2 good reasons.
Oh, yeah? Well, that only answers half the question.
Just my luck, I'll end up with half that shaves.
Well, wait, is Raquel Welch really gonna play Myra Breckenridge?
Yeah, and I'll bet she wins, too.
Somehow she just doesn't seem right for the part.
Yeah, but them parts sure seem right for her.
My poor boy married an awful girl. He has to do the washing, the shopping, and bring her breakfast in bed. But my daughter now, she married a wonderful man. He does all the washing and shopping and brings her breakfast in bed.
You know, I'm terribly disappointed in American women. Everything about them is plastic. Plastic bosoms, plastic surgery, plastic hair. I took a girl out last night, and when I squeezed her, she said, "Mama."
You know, Hollywood's making a movie about the war in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it runs too long, and it's way over budget, and they can't seem to find a good ending for it. Sounds like they took the plot from the Pentagon.
There's no stopping progress. At St. Paul, they put fluoride in the holy water. Attendance went up 40%. Cavities went down 16%.
Welcome back to the second half of our show, everybody. I hope you got a little bit of brain food for you because I've got some really, really good questions for you. I am your host and the Quizmaster, Mike Brever. Settle back, maybe get that paper and pencil out so you can take a couple notes because we've got great questions. You know, this week, I'm actually taping this show on March 14th. That means that St. Patrick's Day is quickly approaching. You know, I'm actually part Irish. I've also been to Ireland, and I have kissed the Blarney Stone. My wife rused the day when I learned the gift of gab by kissing that Blarney Stone. One of the things about St. Patrick's Day that always I love is Irish music. My wife and I actually had company, two friends of ours that we haven't seen face to face in 2 years because of coronavirus. We had them over on Saturday night for dinner. We socially distanced for the evening, but we played about 5 hours of Irish music. I put 6 CDs on my CD changer and it just kept going all night. One of my favorites, of course, "Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow." And on and on and on. One of the most famous Irish ballads of all time. And some of the most famous recording artists of all time did it. It actually was first recorded in 1918 by Percy Grainger. It's also known as Londonderry Air. It's also very, very popular at funerals, but the National Catholic Register in 2001 reported that it cannot be played during a Catholic Mass. Apparently it's not Christian enough. In 1940, though, Judy Garland sang the song and Little Nellie Kelly. 1940, Glenn Miller and his orchestra. 41, Bing Crosby. 1941, Deanna Durbin. 1950, Al Hibbler. 1961, Andy Williams. 1964, Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. 1967, Ray Price. 1976, Elvis Presley. And in 1992, Eric Clapton. Some of the most famous music artists of all time. Interestingly enough, because Danny Boy cannot be played in a Catholic church during an official ceremony, Ireland itself is heavily Catholic. 90% of the population of Ireland is Roman Catholic. 90%. My question to you, because of this heavy Catholic influence in Ireland, when was the first divorce granted in Ireland? When was it that the first divorce was granted in Ireland? That is question number 1, my friends. When was the first divorce in Ireland? Question number 2. We're going to talk a little bit about a very, very famous artist, Sir Edwin Henry Landseer. Really a very, very notable English artist. Born March of 1802, died October 1st of 1873. Best known for his paintings of animals, particularly horses, dogs, and stags. However, his best known sculptures are the lion sculptures at the base of Nelson's Column in Trafalgar Square. Landseer, of course, was a notable figure in 19th century British art. His works can be found in Tate Britain, the Victoria and Albert Museum, the Kenwood House, the Wallace Collection in London. He also collaborated with fellow painter Frederick Richard Lee. And again, animal paintings were one of the things that he really, really specialized in. In fact, Sir Edwin Henry Landseer was the very first person to paint St. Bernard dogs carrying brandy casks around their necks. You know, the ones up in the Swiss Alps that go out to look for skiers or lost people, and they carry brandy with them so that when they find the lost person, they can nourish them with a little bit of a warming nectar. Sir Edwin Henry Landseer was the very first person to portray that in a painting. My question to you, given the fact that Sir Edwin Henry Landseer lived from March 7th, 1802 to 1873, he obviously painted that painting during his lifetime, but when was it that St. Bernard dogs actually began carrying these brandy casks around their neck so that they could go out and rescue lost people in severe winter weather? When was it that St. Bernard dogs first began carrying these brandy casks around their necks, which were portrayed by Sir Edwin Landseer in his famous painting? That is question number 2, my friends. Question number 3. We're going to take a look at one of America's most famous television personalities. We're going to look at Willard Herman Scott Jr., better known as Willard Scott. Born March 7, 1934, passed away September 4th, 2021. He was best known as the weatherman and television personality on the Today Show. Appeared on NBC for years and years and years. He was a noted television personality from 1950 until 2015. He actually appeared on the Today Show for about 30 years. Just a wonderful, wonderful personality. In addition to the work on the Today Show from 1955 to 1972, he teamed with Ed Walker as co-host of the nightly Joy Boys radio program. So he actually had a very, very well-known radio personality as well. During that period of time, the Washington Post said that they dominated Washington, providing entertainment, companionship, and community to a city on the verge of powerful change. Scott, of course, was tapped in 1980 to become the weatherman for the Today Show, and he became a personality many times bigger than what he was. He became a national personality at that time. hosted parades, well known for the Thanksgiving parades that he used to host. Of course, he actually lived in Virginia. He co-hosted with Brian Gumbel on the Today Show for a long, long time. Went into semi-retirement in 1996 and was succeeded by Al Roker. But he had continued to appear 2 days a week on the morning program to wish centenarians a happy birthday. 3 people right here at East Castle Place today would have been recognized by Willard Scott for the fact that they are now centenarians. My question to you is that from 1963 to 1966, in addition to all the things we've talked about, Willard Scott actually created a character, and he portrayed that character for 3 years, which has become an iconic symbol, not only in America today, but around the world. Willard Scott created an iconic character, and he portrayed that character from 1963 to 1966. What is that character that Willard Scott created and portrayed for those 3 years, 1963 to 1966? There you have it, my friends. Those are the 3 questions we have for you this week. If you'd like to get your name on Quick Trivia with Mike, all you have to do is submit some ideas for some questions that I can use, and if I use one of them, I'll give you credit. Or call in. Give me the answers to some of these questions, and I'll shout out your name. We are counting down to the beginning of our 3rd season. We've only got 2 more weeks to go after today, and then we begin our 3rd season of Quick Trivia right here on Channel 955. As always, I'd like to thank the president of ECTV, Tyler Gudex. I'd like to thank our executive producer, Stacy Abbott. I'd like to thank my producer and cameraman and editor, Scott McFerrin. I'd also like to thank all of you for tuning in for this last half hour. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. As always, I am your host and the Quizmaster, Mike Brever. Until next week, I ask you to remember those very, very famous words of Betty White. I highly encourage you to get 8 hours of beauty sleep every night, unless, of course, you're ugly. In that case, I recommend you get 9. So long, everybody. Have a great week. I'll see you next time.
So I remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast it felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us, and your arm felt nice wrapped around my shoulder. And I had a feeling that I belonged. I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone. You got a fast car, I got a job that pays all our bills. Instead of drinking late at the bar, some more your friends than you do your kids. I'd always hope for better. Thought maybe together you and me'd find it. I got no plans, I ain't going nowhere. So take your fast car and keep on driving. You got a fast car. Fast enough so you can fly away. You gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.